trust me, when he announced that he was going to enter the Olympia this year, it was like, woo!
What's up, Desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and today I have the privilege to be joined by last year's Mr Olympia winner, the one and only Brandon Curry, direct from Kuwait. Brandon, how you doing?
Doing great this morning. Doing great.
Now, I see, first thing I mentioned to you is that face has come in a lot since I've seen, photos and stuff of you close up sort of a few weeks ago. Is the diet starting to hit you now?
I'm starting to get hungry in between meals, So yeah, it's definitely, this is where I expect to be approaching this 6 weeks out mark. I expect to be hungry. So I'm prepared. I'm prepared for what's to come.
Yeah. And now obviously you've been in Kuwait during COVID. So you obviously made the decision to go over there while this whole, I suppose, pandemic is going on. How's it been over there, I suppose, compared to how things are like in the US?
Well, fortunately for me, I live in Tennessee. It's pretty much a Republican state, and the restrictions wasn't too bad there. They had some, a few mask mandates, but my gyms, we didn't necessarily have to train with masks and stuff like that. But here, it's I guess before I came, it was a little bit more restricted. They had a curfew, like the first day I got here, they had the end of the last day of curfew. Yeah. I think that was like at 9 or something like that. But that ended, and then of course we supposed to wear masks and stuff in the gym, but just being around here, things seem pretty normal for the most part. Most people are not really, I guess they're kind of over the whole COVID scare thing. And they're kind of trying to live life as, back to normal as possible. So, you still kind of required to wear masks and stuff in the gym, but as you see my training videos, I have a hard time with that. But as far as the hysteria here, it's kind of pretty calmed down for the most part. There are some rumors I've heard about a possible minor shutdown in a few weeks, with restriction in I think airline travel and maybe some kind of curfews. But most people I talk to, they don't really think that's going to happen. So we'll see.
Hopefully not. Does that make you nervous at all in terms of getting out of there or the gyms closing or anything like that and getting back to the States?
Well, I'm not really worried about the gym necessarily closing because I live right next door to it.
Yeah.
And but maybe the travel restrictions are kind of something in the back of my mind. I hope they don't really, because they'll say 2 weeks, and then next thing you know, they'll extend the time. So hopefully that's not the case. I know they care, pretty much about the economy here, and like I said, I think they overreacted enough in the initial phases of lockdown that they realized that the people around here are going freaking crazy. And I don't think they want that to really happen again. So I don't think they'll do anything as severe. So, I'm hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic in that fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you've obviously gone over to Kuwait and done this for the last couple of years. How do you, I suppose you're 6 weeks out now, how much do you look forward to, I suppose, getting home? Is that something you just think about at the end of your prep or just before you start flying over there? Because obviously you got your beautiful wife and beautiful children over there. So I imagine it's got to be somewhat tough being away from them.
As it gets closer, it's one of the things that it's almost like Christmas time. Christmas is approaching. I'm like a kid, I'm like, when is it going to get here? So it's kind of like that same feeling here. The wife is wanting to be back already, and I'm ready to kind of step on U.S. territory a little bit and get back to normal life. I want to get back home and see my sons play some football. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to catch some post-game, post-season stuff. Like hopefully we'll see. Depends on how far they go. But I'm itching, man. I'm itching to be back, but I still have some unfinished business here. So.
Absolutely. And your son, mentioning your kids as well. I'm not sure which son it is or if it's two of them, but you keep posting up stuff of one of your sons, and he is an absolute, man, he looks like he's going to be like the next NFL star to me. Like looks crazy. I don't know how old he is.
Yeah, my oldest boy, he'll be 11 this year. But he's quite the football player. He's quite the natural football player. But his younger brother is coming up, 8 years old as well, and he's coming into his own as well. So I think, well, the mom would say at 8 he was better than his brothers. So we got some big things coming for him, hopefully in the future. But yeah, Maximus right now his gameplay is definitely definitely shining right now. So Maximus is doing his thing, and Marvelous says he's going to catch up.
I love those names too. They're such cool names. But obviously, you're prepping for the Olympics, so let's discuss that a little bit. So, people have discussed, I mean, you even talked about it. You said it was harder to come down in weight at last year's Olympia compared to the Arnold Classic that you won. Now, having a big break between, last year's Olympia and this year's Olympia, I think it's going to be about 15 to 16 months difference between those contests. Has that helped you, do you think, in terms of being able to get leaner a bit easier than last year?
Yeah, it's kind of like the body's kind of reset. Metabolism is pretty much reset. I had a long break, so I was sensitive to pretty much everything we're throwing at me. I didn't really do a lot of off-season cardio or anything like that. And so getting back here and kind of getting in that groove, I'm responding really, really well. The body's not stressed out at all. It's just taking what we throw at it. So far, so good. And this process has been good and not too stressful. So we're not having to push as hard. My cardio is high, fairly high right now, but that's in an effort to remove some at the end. We're trying to come in a little bit early so we can kind of relax the body at the end. We wasn't fortunate enough to do that last year coming into the Olympia. So this year we're aiming to be ready early so we can kind of make sure I'm not stressed out and the body's response to the final stages of prep the best we can allow it to. So.
Absolutely. Do you feel like, I suppose, what are you planning on improving this year compared to last year's Olympia? Because you hear a lot of, I suppose, internet experts talking about, oh, Brandon needs this, Brandon needs that, or whatever. But there's all, the Mr. Olympia is always going to get picked on no matter what. Even when Ronnie was winning at his peak, people were still saying, oh, Ronnie's got a gut, Ronnie's not aesthetic or whatever. So what do you want to improve and what will you improve at the 2020 Mr. Olympia?
Conditioning is the number one priority. Number one priority for us coming into the Olympia. And then, the balance still trying to bring out the legs and the fullness out through the quads. And, we try to see if we can get some deeper separation. I had somebody ask me the other day, you got to get some deeper separation. And I said, well, how do I do that? What do I do? So to get deeper
I think I saw that on Instagram. I think I saw that.
Yeah. So it's like, so what do I do to do that? You know the secret? Because you tell me how, I like to be deeper separated. But, hopefully it'll come with the better conditioning and the more rest on my body. Some more lines and depth will show. So, we're working on those things. I'm just trying to bring the best possible packages I can bring. Combination of the size and the fullness from the Olympia last year with more of the conditioning from the Arnold and last year as well. So that's the combination I want.
Yeah. And obviously, like I said, like at the Arnold last year, that was like, you shocked everyone at that contest. And it was awesome to see the battle between yourself and William Bonac. And this year, obviously, we had the special invite for Big Ramy, which we saw come out because he said I actually heard Dan Solomon say the other day he supplied the Olympia people with his, confirmed positive test for COVID. Now, what do you think about the special invites in general? Are you for the special invites or are you sort of more against them?
It's been happening way before I got here in bodybuilding. So, who am I to say whether I'm for or against? I know there's some, some popular bodybuilders out there the fans love. And at the end of the day, this is a business and we can't put butts in the seats and, or maybe sell some streams this year, then, they're not going to be able to pay us. So, big names like Big Ramy coming in is good for me because with the opportunity to compete against big names like that and, cause discussion and, hopefully coming out on top, they won't be able to say he's missing this year. So I welcome the invites. I welcome Big Ramy, whoever it is. It's good for business for me. Some of the other guys that were close to qualifying, I know how they feel. That's got to be, it kind of hurts a little bit to be so close and then not getting the invite yourself. So I understand that side of it too. But like I say, bodybuilding is just not a sport, it's a business.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great way to look at it as well. And now I saw an interview with Jake Wood on, I think it's a Sean Ray show that he's got on YouTube. And Jake was like, basically sort of talking a lot about the contest. And he did say, he said, we're going to pay the athletes the full amount this year. We said, we're not stepping back. We're not going to reduce the prize money. And he said, it's essentially coming out of his pocket, which, I suppose everyone sort of knew that anyway, because without Jake Wood putting on this Olympia, a lot of these pre-Olympia shows wouldn't have happened. And it really would have been a dead season for bodybuilding. So I suppose when you think about it and when you have those, I suppose, conversations, how grateful are you for Jake Wood for, doing this bodybuilding season and making it happen?
I'm super grateful for Jake. I know for a fact that this bodybuilding season would not happen without Jake. I was able to meet with Jake a little bit earlier in the year before I left the U.S. out there at the headquarters, and got to kind of talk to him and pick his brain a little bit. He loves bodybuilding, man. He loves the sport, and he he's been wanting to own the Olympia for a while now. So I'm glad it's in his hands. Can it be at a better time? And I know from this from this point on, it's just going to get better and better, man, because we have somebody back in the saddle with passion, with love for the sport, that cares about the athletes, cares about giving the fans. I mean, with the changes they've done for this season, with the little bit of time that they've had, stepping it up a notch with the venue. I mean, it's going to give just a new experience that I haven't experienced yet as far as the times I've been competing at the Olympia. So moving away from New Orleans, I never got the chance to compete in Mandalay Bay, but it's going to kind of give me that Mandalay Bay kind of experience that people used to talk about. So everything's going to be in one location this year. So it's going to be very intimate, very easy access, and we're going to be right on the strip as the headliners in Las Vegas. So it's going to be like Christmas time. So I'm excited for the future bodybuilding, and the future of the Olympia is, of course, in Jake's hands.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they're in pretty safe hands as well with how it's looking. And everything that he's said as well and how he wants to grow the sport is super encouraging for obviously like everyone involved, myself as well. And I was even just thinking about this earlier when I was listening to him. I said to myself, I was saying, okay, without the bodybuilding season happening this year, thanks to Jake, I wouldn't have been able to get as many views and stuff on YouTube and get as much from that. So it's like really he's putting money in my pocket as well as obviously all the competitors and everyone involved in bodybuilding. So massive shout out to Jake. And I'd love to actually get him on the channel at some point to sort of pick his brain, because I've got plenty of questions for, a guy like that who's able to buy the Olympia, which is pretty damn cool. But obviously, as you mentioned earlier, like Big Ramy being in the contest helps you as well because it adds more credibility to your title, and the fact that they can't say he's not there this year. Now, another guy that they were saying about last year was Phil Heath. Now, people sort of discredited your win a little bit because Phil wasn't there. Are you excited to see Phil in the show?
This is something I've been dreaming about, something I've been hoping about. So it's really a dream come true. I was waiting all last year for Phil to announce that he was going to enter the Olympia, and it just never happened. So I thought maybe, I got my hopes down, thinking he would officially retire. So trust me, when he announced that he was going to enter the Olympia this year, it was like, woo! It was like, I just felt like a supercharge go through me, because like this is something I've been waiting on. I've been looking up to Phil for my whole career, and it's been a dream to stand on stage toe to toe with him. And it looks like I'm finally get my opportunity. So it's great. It's exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it. And like I said, he's one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, and without competition, what would the sport be?
Exactly. And there's almost like a rivalry building there as well between you and Phil, without you even guys really being compared on stage yet, which is actually pretty funny, because you think of rivalries as being, Kai Green versus Phil or Jay Cutler versus Ronnie Coleman. And you guys really haven't battled too much head to head where it's you guys down at the end. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, like it's been pretty much a hype thing through guys like myself, through guys, I suppose through the talk of, everyone around you, but you don't really say too much, you know what I mean? Like it's more, I've seen Abdullah make some comments, I've seen Phil make some comments and stuff like that. And it's sort of just that little bit of a hearsay. I suppose, how do you feel about Abdullah, like really, I suppose, being in your corner and really pushing for you, I guess, like in those comments and stuff he makes?
Well, Abdullah's tenacious. It's just his personality,
Yeah.
He has his heart on his sleeve. He's going to say what he believes, what he feels. And, he likes to fight, he really does like to fight. He likes to challenge. So, he's like the side of my personality that I can probably hold inside, that more competitive side. So but he lets it all out. And, I just let him do him. I'm going to be me. He's going to be him. But you know, I respect Phil as a champion nonetheless, and I will say Abdullah is a big fan of Phil Heath, so this is a big opportunity for us.
Yeah.
So you know, we're just excited for the opportunity, and we want the challenge. And you know, being as competitive as he is and competitive as I am, we just approach it in two different ways. You know,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
internalize it, and he doesn't.
Yeah, for sure. And now, obviously, you can't speak on Phil's motivations or anything like that, but I did see you put up a post, and there was some comments underneath of it, basically saying like he was replying to a few comments, and he put hashtag body bags and stuff like that. He also said something along the lines of he has no idea what they've woken up. Now, I don't know if he's referring to you and Abdullah, but obviously he's referring to some of his competition as well. I mean, does that light a fire under you at all in terms of like, okay, let's go?
For me to get that kind of personal attention, you know, from Phil Heath, competitively, knowing that that's typical Phil Heath genre from all the years he's been competing is pretty cool, man. I'm like, it's pretty cool. So you know, I know that's typical Phil Heath. You know, he comes from basketball. He's gonna talk a little junk, you know, on the side in his way. So that doesn't bother me. You know, it's really cool just to see that. Oh man, he's referring to me. He's got me on his mind, and I like to be on Phil Heath's mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there's an article put out, and it basically said it was on deadline.com. And I don't know who the comments was from, if it was from the person who wrote the article through Phil Heath's team or whatever. I'm not too sure. But it basically says this. I'll take a little bit out of it. It says, overcome injuries that come with 18 years of physical and mental sacrifice, and the beefcake that filled the gap while he was away and will be on stage against him. Now, when that came out, you ran with it. Like most people would be like, who's he talking about? But you ran with it, and you're hashtagging beefcake, and you've got even your own t-shirts with beefcake on them. What went through your head when you first read that?
Well, you know, my wife, you know, she responded first, and she sent it to me. Can you believe this? I was like, what do you mean? As I read it, I just cracked up laughing. I was like, beefcake. Well, we were like, what's this? What's this beefcake stuff? I said, well, they can't say my name. That they have a problem saying my name. So, you know, we laughed about it a little bit. You know, we was like, okay, this is kind of like maybe blatant sideways disrespect. I said, but we you know, wife, we talked about it. It's like, we're going to make lemons out of lemonade. We're going to take this beefcake thing and run with it. We looked at the definition of beefcake, and it's actually quite flattering. So what was meant for bad is kind of turned around being for good. So, you know, we got beefcake shirts coming in all kind of different fashions. So look out for the beefcake coming to stage in 220 at the Olympia.
I love it, man. I was going to actually introduce you as Brandon Beefcake Curry, but I was like, nah, I won't do that yet.
It's all good. It's all good, man. It sticks now. It sticks. It ain't going away. They may have changed the press release, but it's not going away.
I love it, man. I love it. So that's it for part one of my two-part interview with 2019 Mr. Olympia Brandon Curry. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That way you won't miss out on part two when that drops. Plus, I've got a ton more interviews coming out with top-level pro bodybuilders and competitors from other divisions that are doing that 2020 Mr. Olympia in my Road to Mr. Olympia series as well. And part two is a great one, Brandon Curry too. And includes listener questions that some of you guys have asked as well. So make sure you do tune into that. Also, if you want to support the channel, head to hostile.com. It's HOSSTILE.com. Enter ZAVE10, XAV10. You'll save yourself 10% on some of the best supplements in the world. So that's it for myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. We are